Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. In today's video, I'm going to compare for you two very similar fragrances from two different Middle Eastern fragrance houses. From the house of AFNAN, the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, and from the house of LATTAFA, the LATTAFA Pride line Al QIAM Silver. Just want to quickly mention something in the beginning of this video. Today, for the first time, I'm using an external microphone to shoot a video. So use the comment section down below to let me know if you think that this is an improvement, if you like the sound quality with an external mic, or you don't like it and you prefer the sound quality of my previous videos. Okay, with that out of the way, let's quickly take a look at the packaging of the two fragrances. Both of them come in a very luxurious type of packaging. This is the box of the AFNAN's TURATHI Blue. It's sort of a very dark blue color. You open up the box, the bottle sits inside. You also get this sort of like a personal message for the potential buyers of this fragrance. And the box of the Al QIAM Silver from the LATTAFA Pride line looks like this. It's sort of a black and silver color combination. The black part of the cardboard box has this sort of a slight velvety finish to it, and inside the bottle sits like this. You also find this little booklet that all LATTAFA Pride line fragrances comes packaged with. So all in all, as far as the packaging goes, both of them come packaged really nicely. Okay, now it's time to talk about the actual scent of the two fragrances, but first let's get something out of the way. Both the AFNAN TURATHI Blue and the Al QIAM Silver, they're trying to do the same thing, and that's clone a designer fragrance, which in this case is the Bulgari's Tiger. Now, let me spray the two fragrances. I'll spray the AFNAN TURATHI Blue on my left hand. I really like the sprayer on the TURATHI Blue. It has a wide distribution. And then on my right hand, I'll put the Al QIAM Silver. Again, not a bad sprayer, although I prefer the one on the TURATHI Blue. Alright, both fragrances have a main player in the opening, and that's the note of grapefruit. But that note is the way that the grapefruit note is presented in the two fragrances makes a big difference. That's where in the opening those two fragrances differ the most, in my opinion. With the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, you get a really nice, juicy, realistic, sweet note of grapefruit, which I really like. With the Al QIAM Silver, there's the grapefruit note is also nice, but it doesn't feel as sweet and as juicy. It feels a little bit like more fresher. Also, the Al QIAM Silver has a ginger note in the opening, which adds a little bit more freshness to the opening of the fragrance itself. So, in the opening, the AFNAN TURATHI Blue smells like a really nice, juicy, sweet grapefruit, whereas the Al QIAM Silver smells like a fresher type of a grapefruit with some added freshness from a ginger note. On the mid-dry down, these two fragrances start to become a lot more similar. You still get more sweetness from the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, but you're introduced with some amber sweetness along with the grapefruit sweetness, and also a lot of ambroxan. It's the same case with the Al QIAM Silver, but the amber note is less noticeable, and the Al QIAM Silver still remains less sweet and more fresher compared to the TURATHI Blue. And on the deep dry down, this is where the two fragrances become like almost identical, because the amber sweetness in both of them starts to fade away, and some musk, some vetiver, and some woodsy notes start to take over the whole fragrance, the whole scent, the whole dry down. And this is where the two fragrances are, as I said, almost identical. So they mainly differ in the opening and the mid dry down. Performance wise, both fragrances have a very similar performance. I get somewhere around about 9 hours out of both of those two fragrances, but the projection is where they differ a little bit. I get a slightly better projection with the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, and I think that's simply because of the slightly sweeter nature of this fragrance compared to the Al QIAM Silver. I get about 2 hours of pretty strong projection with the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, whereas the Al QIAM Silver gives me about an hour and a half of moderate projection. Price wise, initially when the TURATHI Blue was launched and it was hyped a lot, prices were very high, but nowadays I think if you look at discounters, you can probably pick this fragrance for somewhere around about $30 to $40. The QIAM Silver is still relatively new to the Western markets. It's part of the LATTAFA Pride line, which is a more expensive line from the LATTAFA. But again, if you look at discounters, you'll probably be able to find this one in somewhere around the range of $40 to $45. And at the end, my final thoughts, and just wanted to quickly mention another little difference between the two fragrances. The AFNAN TURATHI Blue comes in a 90 milliliter bottle size, whereas the QIAM Silver is the standard 100 milliliters. But what are my final thoughts about those two fragrances? Now, if I have to pick up just one out of those two fragrances, it's going to be the AFNAN TURATHI Blue, because of that very juicy, realistic grapefruit note in the opening, and because it's slightly sweeter compared to the QIAM Silver. But QIAM Silver on its own is a great fragrance, and both those two fragrances, they serve pretty much the same purpose. Now, if you already own one of those two fragrances, I think it's redundant to get the other one. But as I said again, if I have to pick up just one out of those two, it's going to be the AFNAN TURATHI Blue. So guys, in today's video, I did a comparison between two very similar fragrances, the AFNAN TURATHI Blue and the QIAM Silver. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Stay safe, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.